guys, so this week's video is going to be on how I style my scene bangs. I had a couple questions after my last video on how I style my scene hair, and I figured I'd clear up a couple things in this video. Since a lot of you liked the past video that I did, I figured I would teach you exactly how to get my perfect bangs, or I guess my version of my perfect bangs, and how I get them to stay all day, and just kind of the process that goes into it all. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in and show you guys exactly what I do. So before I do my hair, I always use a heat protectant on it because I do use heat quite often on my hair. I really don't want to damage it too much, so I go ahead and use a heat protectant on it. And I typically don't put it up here because I don't typically use heat all the way up here, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to put it throughout the rest of my hair. Okay, so right now my bangs, if they were forward, they would do this, which is not what they're supposed to be doing. So the first thing I usually do when I do my scene hair is I shower the night before, and I do a little bit of prep work the night before so it does not take me long at all to do my hair in the morning. So after I shower, I tease my bangs just slightly after I blow dry my hair, just where they stick together, and it helps really, I don't know, make it a lot easier to style in the morning, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's what I do at night. And also a tip to do at night to where your hair does not get messed up before the morning is to take your bangs and lay them how you want them to lay, and then take bobby pins and stick them up and line it along your bangs. And then I usually just sleep with my hair like this, and then in the morning they're laying at least the direction that I want them to lay, and then I'll worry about the actual styling part of them in the morning. So in that way I don't wake up with some kind of afro. So just taking my straightener, the first thing I do is I typically do these side pieces over here. So I'm just going to straighten those towards my face, and mine are a little bit long. I do need to get my hair cut, so I don't have them coming like across my eyes because I wouldn't be able to see. So I'm just going to straighten those real quick. Then I typically don't use heat on all of my hair. I just do it on the pieces that are bumpy, and since this section is pretty much just straight, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like that. Except sometimes the back can be a little smashed and disoriented, so I go ahead and straighten that. Okay, so for the bangs, so I've gone through maybe 3 straighteners to try to find the perfect one, and this one is by far my favorite. This one is by Hot Tools, and it has an adjustable temperature on it, and I typically have mine at 430 degrees. And when I style my bangs, I take it here, pull it forward, and flip it back. This will help shape the edge of them, and then I run my fingers through them. That is very important. So it's starting to get the shape now. And since there are several layers in my bangs, I typically do this in layers. So I take that section, then I go a little bit further down, do the same thing. And this will just help them all grip together. Now the hardest part can be this cowlick, because you don't want to curl it too much because then you'll have bangs sticking up in the front. So typically for this part, I'll clamp it here and just twist it as I go in the direction that I want it to go. And that is how I get my scene bangs to lay. Now this part can sometimes weigh down the bangs and break them apart, so I'll also do it to this layer back here. It'll also give it more of a textured look and just make your bangs look thicker and more full. And I typically just repeat this process until I get them how I want them to lay. Okay, so I just do the front section of my bangs because when you do straighten your hair, it can make it harder for it to stick together and it to all lay right. So I just do this front section. I don't worry about back here because it'll make it a lot easier to tease. And unless it's like sticking up or wonky, then I really don't do anything back there. Okay, so to get that awesome volume, I go ahead and tease my hair. So I start on this section here and work my way around. So there's the little section of hair back here where the hair comes forward and just where all the hair comes from. So I take this section here and I just section it off with my finger, and then I take just any hairspray. Mine is She's a Tease Volumizing Hairspray by Not Your Mother's, and I actually have really liked this one. A lot of hairsprays that I've tried have not held together, and this one does, so I do recommend this one. And then I just spray it a little bit at the roots. Then I take a teasing comb, and then mine is by Conair, and then I just tease the roots of it. And I just take this in thin sections. Then I will take the end of this, take a thin section underneath that, and do the same process. Now on that section I only tease it twice. And yes, it looks really crazy right now, but do not smooth this down just yet. Then I'm going to take the section that is in the back, just all the way across. Ugh, hair's too long to fit in the frame. My gosh. Okay, so here's our section, and then I just spray it and repeat the same thing back here. And I typically do 3 layers back here. And you can never tease too much because your hair will fall throughout the day, so the more you tease in the morning, the cooler it will look throughout the rest of the day. Okay, now that we look like we have some sort of rat living in our hair, let's move on. Now for this front section of bangs, I will be taking smaller sections and starting all the way at the front. So I'm going to take this section here, and I will tease this one as well, doing the exact same process. Except this side, I take lots more layers. And they're about a ½ inch wide. And then I go until I get to the end of my eyebrow, and it connects there. Now that we really look like we have a whole herd of rats living in our hair, we're going to smooth it out. And for this, I will not be using the teasing comb that I used earlier because this will take out the majority of the teasing. I'm going to go in with a softer bristled brush, and I'm just going to lightly brush that top layer. You really don't want to push hard though, because you will take out the tease if you do. Just to where we look like we don't have rats living in our hair. You can see that our bangs are not laying right again, so now it will be even easier to style them. So you're just going to bring this forward, and they'll still connect the way that they were curled with a straightener. So just pull it forward, and then I typically just play with it some with my hands until it lays the right way. And see how it's all sticking together? This the hairspray really helps with this. Then if I have any hairs that are not laying how I want them, I'll take that straightener again and just slightly do them. Then just spray your bangs like crazy with hairspray, because if you don't, they will separate and then they'll just be super irritating throughout the rest of the day. And voila, that's how I get my perfect seam bangs and how I get them to stay throughout the day. And one more thing, I did want to mention like my holy girl product when it comes to my hair and styling it. After I get out of the shower, before I blow dry it, I always use this Bedhead Totally Baked Volumizing and Prepping Hair Meringue. And this literally is my holy grail product. I have like over half this thing left, and I've had it since like February. This thing will last you forever. I love it. It makes your hair stick together. It makes it 100 times easier to style your hair. I struggled so much with styling my hair until I got this, and this will it will change your life. I just put it throughout my bangs before I blow dry it, and I just make sure to blow dry it all in the direction that I want it to go, and voila, you're set. So that is all I do for styling my bangs, and if you have any more questions, leave them down below. I really hope this video was helpful to you, and I'm glad that I could share some of my tips and tricks on how I get my hair to stay. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I do have a video on this makeup look right here, so I will have that linked down below. It is my Kylie Jenner inspired look. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing how to get this makeup, then check out that video down below. And also don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. That is all Bree Beauty XXOO, and that information will all be down below. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I will see you next week. Bye!
With her wine-stained lips, yeah, she's nothing